Boys, I hope you're going good. If you don't know who I am, my name is Michael. I'm one of the pastors at our church. You're probably unaware of that. You're probably busy sitting at the back of church on your phones, busy playing Pokemon Go or Fortnite or whatever it is that you guys play these days. You're crazy kids. But you might also know my daughter. My daughter's Jessie. She is at youth. So to her, I am affectionately known as her old fat dad. But one of the advantages of being an old fat dad is I have a little bit of experience and I've lived a pretty interesting life and learned a bunch of stuff. So Eldon, your amazing youth leader, has asked me a couple of questions and I just want to give you a really quick answer. The first question is, what's something you would tell your younger self if you have any words of wisdom? So I got a couple of things, boys. If you ever decide to put some deep heat on your shoulder or your back or your chest, or you're cutting up some chilies, make sure you wash your hands before you have a wee. Otherwise it ends really, really badly. I'm just letting you know, don't go and try it. It's terrible. But the older I get, this is my serious advice, the older I get, the more I realize that the stuff that seemed massive when I was younger, the challenges or the things with relationships or people or the things that seemed really, really huge, the older I get, the more I realize that they weren't actually that big a deal. And that's the advantage to getting a bit older, is you can look back into the history of time when dinosaurs roamed the earth and realize that some of that stuff that feels really big when you are a bit younger isn't actually that big a deal. So hold tight, boys. Every storm blows over, every dark moment ends, the sun comes up the next day. Just hold tight, get through today, get tomorrow done when it actually shows up. And one of the other things is I realise now that just because I'm not running around doing all the things that like maybe my mates were doing, I'm not actually missing out. Because I know it's really cliched and it's easy for me to say because I'm an old fat dad these days, but I know now there is nothing that will bring me more joy than just being really tight with Jesus. Question number 2 was, what's something you did as a youth to remain in close connection to Jesus or wish that you had done that works for well? Mate, for me, it was me. It was just staying close, maybe to youth. It was staying connected to youth. So even when I didn't feel really connected to God, I stayed connected to youth. I hung out with my youth leaders. And those guys reminded me that even if I'm not super excited about Jesus, He is super excited about you. He thinks you are amazing. He knows you are going to do amazing things. So boys, a couple of good lessons for you there. Make sure you wash your hands. Make sure you hang out at youth. Make sure you stay connected to your youth leaders. Well done, boys.
Hey CY, my name's Shawantha and I work at Compass, and I make sure that everyone at Compass Church is being looked after and cared for. And the question is, what's something I'd tell my younger self that has helped me now, some good bit of advice. I'd say to make good investments, to be patient and make sure that you invest your time, your finances, your spiritual life. Make good investments, because if you do those things early on, they'll hold you in good stead later. So spend time with God, make good investments in how you spend time with Him, and that'll hold you in good stead. What's something that I've done as when I was younger that's helped me remain close to Jesus? It would be just making sure I put aside time to spend time with Him, whether that's listening to worship music or reading my Bible. It's the Bible says to be still and know that I am God, and that's something that's helped me, is to remain close to Him, is to have quiet moments, just to be able to sit and be still.
Now, when I look back on my life, I was also very blessed. My mom and dad led me to the Lord when I was a teenager. I grew up in a good church, in faith. I knew the Lord. I had connection with youth. I was at youth. But somewhere here in my very early 20s, when I was faced with certain directions on how to live my life, I know that I took some wrong decisions. When I look back, I can see that at certain crossroads, I chose consciously the path that I knew in my heart wasn't the path of the Lord. Kind of making excuses. I'm a strong Christian, my faith will get me through even if this path isn't quite right. It's not a bad thing, it's just not quite the right path. Knowing that, and when I look back, I can say that it's only by God's grace and God's grace alone that my life didn't turn out very differently based on some of the decisions that I made. I can look back and I can see that in those periods when I made wrong decisions. God didn't abandon me. He was there, probably carrying me. He was still there, but I wasn't living with the full blessing that I could have been with God in my life.
Hey Compass Youth, good to see you guys, and here I am hanging out with all my mates. That's Kevin in the background and my dog Archie on the couch. But been asked to answer a couple of questions. Number one is, what advice would I give to my younger self? Oh man, there is so much advice that I wish I could give my younger self. But one thing that stands out for me is that I would certainly kind of get up in my grill and I'd actually just say, Phil, God is limitless. Don't ever forget. And just when you think you're thinking big, think bigger. And just remember how great and incredible God is, and the bigness of God, and that He fiercely loves you so much you can't tame Him. You can't put Him in a box, and don't ever put Him in a box. But God is limitless. And if you just have just a little bit of faith to believe for great things, then incredible things can and will happen. I've seen some great things happen, but if I could just tell myself when I was younger that God's able to do Ephesians 3:20 exceedingly above and beyond what I could dare to dream or imagine. So when I come up with a good idea, God says, hey son, that's good, but I can do so much more than that. And so that's certainly, God is limitless. The second one was, what were some of the things that I did when I was younger that kind of got me through? Because, school, then uni, there's heaps of pressures, and everybody else is going off on their merry way and wanting you to do stuff that you know in your heart and according to the Bible is not right. So how do you get through all of that? One of the things when I had my radical encounter with Jesus when I was like 17, I decided, I'm all in here. I'm not backing down, and I'm just going to go full on for this because it's real. It's Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Then I need to put Him first in everything. And so one of the things I know that God has honored me for, I put Him first when I was going through uni, and then even in my sport, like playing footy at the club, I said to the guys, even when I was getting paid and stuff, I said, hey, I'm happy to play, but you need to know I'm a youth leader. I'm not compromising my role with my youth ministry and stuff. And so I'll play, but I've got to go do my youth ministry. And if there's a function or something later, I'll come to it later. And then, you know what, when exams came, when everything came, number one, I didn't miss youth and I didn't miss church on a Sunday. Back in the days when there was 2 services on Sunday, I always went to one, and I just made sure that I always just put those things first. It didn't matter what I earned, I always tithed and just gave, whether it was like $5, $2, $10 a week, depending on what I was earning through my part-time jobs. I just always put God first. And guys, I can guarantee you, I'm standing here now as a witness and as a testimony that when you put God first, He will never let you down. I got a crazy story about how I got my first job as a physio, coming from South Australia to Victoria. Should never have happened, but I know because I put God first throughout my uni years. He took care of my work situation. Our house, all our stuff got taken care of. Let me tell you, it's a great story, but putting God first and just, got me through. And have a great night, guys. Enjoy.